fate of the world be tied to this place?
The Dragon's Prophecy, based on Jonathan Cahn's international bestseller. Watch it now or buy the DVD at salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but gold has increased over 80% in the past 2 years. So if you think stuffing money under your mattress is your retirement plan, well, good luck with that. When you call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD, we'll send you a free gold kit that explains how rolling over your IRA into gold could not only supercharge your retirement, but maybe even help preserve your sanity. When's the last time you ever heard someone say, "Hey, sell all your gold"? Always consult with your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
The latest on mortgage rates in the U.S.
Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage fell this week to 6.27%. This brings the average rate back to where it was 4 weeks ago, just above its lowest level for the year. Mortgage rates have mostly eased since late July in the lead up to a rate cut last month by the Federal Reserve. The average rate has remained above 6% since September 2022, the year mortgage rates began climbing from their historic lows. The housing market has been in a sales slump ever since. I'm Alex Vega.
J.M. Smucker is suing Trader Joe's, saying its new frozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are too similar to Smucker's Uncrustables in their design and packaging. Smucker is seeking restitution from Trader Joe's. Slow day on Wall Street at the closing bell. The Dow was down 301 points. The S&P 500 off 42. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 48. Tomorrow, another gorgeous day. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. A high topping out at 75. For the weekend, Saturday looks wonderful. Sunshine in our skies all day long. 80 degrees the high. Sunday, we expect the clouds to roll in. A 30 to 40% chance we get late afternoon showers. Next week's highs range from the mid-70s to a run around 80 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point.
Make The Point Radio.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, well, just call Death Valley the CV joint this weekend, huh? The CV joint. Because I like it. It looks like Christopher Vezina is going to, unless things improve over the next 24, 48 hours with Cade Klubnik, according to Larry Williams of Tiger Illustrated, he's not going to be able, not Larry, Cade Klubnik's not going to be able to go against SMU. That ankle injury suffered at suffered at Boston College, apparently enough to keep him out of practice most of the week. And apparently, at this point in time, as of today, it would look unlikely that he would be able to play against SMU. So Dabo Swinney has always said that Christopher Vezina can do the job. And so, Bergie, I think we're going to find out in all likelihood as things stand today. Of course, I will say at Clemson, injuries do have a miracle way of healing. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see what – I'm sure they're doing everything they can to get the ankle ready to go. But ankles are a funny thing. You can play with a broken thumb on your throwing hand and play lousy, but you can still play. But, ankles are tender and, as a running quarterback like he is, no doubt that ankle gets popped a lot. I don't know. We'll see. But Larry Williams reported this morning on Tiger Illustrated that was the situation there. So that really changes everything. The line has dropped to 5.5. Clemson was at one point like an 11.5-point favorite. Now it's down to 5.5. I would have to swing that around and make SMU. I mean, if you are convinced as a bookmaker, if you're convinced that Klubnik's not going to play, I'd have to put the favorites role on SMU.
Well, I'll be fascinated to see how they phrase his injury when the injury report, the first one from the ACC, comes out tonight. He'll obviously be, I guess, questionable would be my assumption. But I'm fascinated from what happened last night because Dabo, obviously, that was the first question he was asked. And he said Klubnik has gone from day to day to hour, and we hope by tomorrow, meaning today, he'll be minute to minute. So whether or not Dabo was actually telling you the truth last night, I have no reason not to believe that, but we don't get to see practice. So, and it sounds like Klubnik has not done much at all this week, and we may get to see Christopher Vizina, who in his career has thrown a grand total of 48 passes in 3 seasons. So, I mean, it's a major drop-off, and I don't think you can argue otherwise. Larry also had a fascinating tweet this afternoon. I'm sure you saw it, Phil. If he can't go, Klubnik can't go, to be the first time since 2014 that a Clemson starting quarterback missed a game because of injury. And that was Deshaun Watson in the bowl game. Think about that. It's over 10 years that the Tigers have not had a starting quarterback miss a game because he was hurt.
And that was after Deshaun Watson had played on half a knee against South Carolina and beat them.
Mm-hmm. You know? And missed the bowl game against Oklahoma.
The other thing,
that's
too,
a fascinating streak.
The other thing, too, that Larry had was Tristan Lee, the left tackle, is also very, very iffy for Saturday. And, of course, they had Brandon Jacobs in there, but he's a true freshman. I know he's a mountain of a man. I mean, he is huge, but he is a true freshman. And you're talking about some of the best defensive ends in college football coming to I'm sorry, I'm confusing them with Oklahoma. You're talking about an SMU defense, which has been, at least statistically, okay against the run. They've not been very good against the pass. They've given up a ton of big plays, shots down the field. You wonder what Clemson will do offensively. You wonder if they will shift to Adam Randall and to the running game and try and plow out a win against SMU, or will they trust Vizina to run their passing game? I mean, you got to get the ball in the hands of Antonio Williams, whether it's shovel passes or reverses, down the field passes. You got to get the ball to him. And if Dabo Swinney believes his own words and he believes that Vizina can go in there and do the job, you just call your offense, you call your plays, and you let him do the thing.
He said for, 2 years at least, that they have all the confidence in the world in Vizina. We've never seen it as fans except when he comes in mop-up duty. But we've never seen him really guide the offense where he is the guy. And if they struggle, it's his fault. If they're successful, it's because of him. So this is a massive story. If the obviously, I still think we all agree the Tigers are out of the ACC race. However, if they were to have any hope to bounce back in there and at least stay in the race, they have to win this weekend. And you're probably going to turn to a guy who's, as I mentioned, hasn't thrown 50 passes in his collegiate career.
Meantime, South Carolina getting ready for Oklahoma. And as I was mentioning a moment ago, some of the best defensive ends in college football coming to Columbia to chase after Lenoris Sellers. And how much chasing will they have to do? What kind of blocking will South Carolina have? Their report last night, and they'll have another one coming out about 8:10 tonight, but the first report last night on South Carolina had 4 offensive linemen listed. That's not good. 3 of them listed as doubtful: Nolan Hay and Shed Surratt and Kaysen Henry, all listed as doubtful. Questionable was Marquis Anderson, and that's on the offensive side. Then defensively, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy listed as questionable. Brandon Cisse listed as probable. For Oklahoma, their offensive lineman, who was mentioned earlier in the week as maybe not being able to go, he's not even on their injury report. So apparently he's good to go, and that's good news for them. They do have 3 other offensive linemen who are listed as out. So got to believe that they've been out for a little while. They have one of their receivers, Keontez Lewis, is listed as doubtful for the game on Saturday. They have a tight end also listed as doubtful, a running back listed as questionable. So we'll see what the Gamecock report shows tonight. But that offensive line, again, not only do you have a new man in charge this week, but you're apparently going to have to do some more shuffling up there on the offensive line to try to fill these holes and find out which group is going to be able to perform the best. My guess is that you'll have, of course, Thompson at left tackle, nothing's changed there. I mean, he's healthy. I don't think there's any, performance-wise, I think he had a little bit better performance last week, so I think you'll have him there. Now, who's going to be the center? Is it going to be Newsome again with his bad snaps the other day, or will they go back to Stanley, who's been kind of overwhelmed, I think, by the nose tackles playing over top of him because he's not the biggest center. You would likely have if Anderson can't go and Surratt can't go, you do have a real problem there at left guard. You could put Newsome at left guard, Stanley at center. If Henry can't go, you got Babalade at the right tackle spot. You got Shivers you can work in there as well at a tackle spot. You could put Babalade at a guard. He's played some guard. I mean, it's and you got Trovon Baugh. Now, I could see Nick Sharp. Nick Sharp played a pretty fair amount at LSU, and I thought he did a pretty nice job. And he was in at left guard, so you could have him at left guard. My guess is you're going to have Thompson at left tackle. Based on the information we have now with the injuries, you'll have Thompson at left tackle. I think you'll have Sharp at left guard. You'll have Stanley at center. And then your right guard will be Baugh, and your right tackle will be Babalade. Again, that's going on the fact that 4 offensive linemen were listed on the injury report and also on how they played and who played last week. Now, Sean Elliott could come in and change some things up. I'm just going off of what I've seen and what I know from the injury report. Anyway, it's kind of a mess, wouldn't you say?
Patchwork offensive line is the best way to describe that, and I think you and I are in agreement because we know how Shane Beamer talks about injuries in the past, Phil, and now he's got it in print. I think any of the guys that are listed as doubtful and questionable will not play Saturday. Probably the only guy on the injury report, at least from last night, that will play will be Brandon Cisse. I think the rest of those guys, unless something drastically changes tonight, I can't see any of those 5 guys that are either doubtful or questionable, especially the 4 offensive linemen. I just don't anticipate they'll play on Saturday.
All right, with all that being said and all that being done, I cannot, in good conscience and good faith, pick either of them to win on Saturday.
It's really hard.
Can't do it. I can't do it. So I think Oklahoma, coming off their loss to Texas, but I think that was, even though they took the loss, they realized they're still in the hunt in the SEC. They're still in the playoff hunt. And so they got the quarterback back out there after he had been out. So he got game action, and he got game action dealing with his thumb issue. It does not appear as if he did any further damage to his thumb. And after the game, he talked about the thumb being fine, not being a problem for him. And so I would expect that he's going to come in and be better than he was. He just had a bad game throwing the football against Texas, not because of the thumb. He just had bad reads and bad throws, and I would imagine he's going to want to come back out and have a much better game. So all that being said and all that being done, I think Oklahoma is going to be too much for South Carolina at home on Saturday. The Gamecocks with that offensive line situation, and I don't know about the Gamecocks lining up and running the ball on these guys against this defense. I mean, this defense in every aspect has been outstanding all season long. So I think it will be Oklahoma beating South Carolina. Don't see the Gamecocks, breaking more than 20 points. I'll probably give them 17 points. I'm looking at Oklahoma here like 31-17.
Wow. Okay. So did you see the tweet or the text that Smitty sent us in our group chat earlier today about Oklahoma and their inefficiency in offense during SEC games?
I did.
Have not scored 3 offensive touchdowns against an SEC opponent since entering the league, which I found fascinating. But you watch their offense and how miserable it was last year and what they did against Texas this past weekend, it kind of makes sense. I was thinking it's probably a little bit lower scoring game. I don't think the Gamecocks break 20. I agree with you there. I think Oklahoma probably gets somewhere at 28-17, 28-14, somewhere in that category.
Williams-Brice Stadium is where opponents' bad records go to die. So I will
say this: the Gamecock defense is going to keep them in the game. They played well enough against LSU to have won that game. They just got no help from the offense. Now, again, we say all this with the caveat. Keep in mind, the Gamecocks can take a punt back for a touchdown. They can scoop and score. They can find a way to get a defensive score or a special team score that may give them a chance to win. But if it's strictly just based off Oklahoma's offense scoring versus South Carolina's offense scoring, I just don't see a way that Carolina can put up enough points.
Yeah, just haven't seen it. Seen it. As we listened to Ellis and Chuck last night, too. I mean, they certainly have a much keener eye for these things than we do, and they're not impressed with what they've seen, and they see the problems as well. Meantime, at Clemson, it's going to be up on the backs of the Clemson defense to keep Kevin Johnson and that SMU offense in check as best as possible, which is, I mean, look, SMU put a bunch of points on the board against Clemson in the championship game last year. Could very easily have won that game last year. And Clemson had to have a big kick return and a Hail Mary field goal. They got it to win that game. Otherwise, SMU was going to be the ACC champs. They've yet to lose an ACC regular season game in their year and a half in the league. And the thing about them is they like to play fast. They have terrific speed at both quarterback and at wide receiver. The quarterback is very hard to corral, as we all know. They have good receivers. And so I think they're going to score points, much like Syracuse did. They came in and they moved the ball on Clemson, and they scored points. And now you have to wonder about Clemson's ability to score points on the other side with their quarterback situation. Thusly, I'm going to have to go with SMU here, and I'm taking the points, just like I took the points with South Carolina, though that's not enough points. I'll take SMU here to beat Clemson in Death Valley, and I think SMU is probably going to put about 28, which is probably all they're going to need. It's going to be like a 28-14. I think it'll be 28-14, 28-17. Give me 28-14 just to make it easy to subtract. 28-14. SMU by 2 touches over the Tigers.
Well, and to keep it close, the Clemson defense, and this is all predicated on Cade Klubnik not playing, but the Clemson defense is going to have to figure out a way to knock Kevin Jennings off his spot, Phil. Here's a guy who ranks 11th in the country in completion percentage, 72%. I mean, the football hardly ever touches the ground when he throws it. And I just feel like they may be able to do enough against the Clemson defense. And especially if they're not getting any support from the offense, this is the same problem that the Gamecocks have. If they don't get any help from the offense, where are they going to get their scoring? And Clemson hasn't shown the propensity to use other ways to score the way USC has. So, yeah, if Klubnik doesn't play Saturday, I think it's going to be an awfully tough row to hoe against SMU for the Tigers.
I should probably get the name of the quarterback right, too. You're right, Kevin Jennings. I got him confused with former Seattle Supersonics guard Kevin Johnson.
He's a pretty good player, too.
Kevin Jennings, yeah. Should remember that because I saw the guy play last year, and he's very impressive. I mean,
he is.
His speed, his ability to run around, to throw off the run. He's got a lot of weapons at his disposal. And the thing is about SMU with their head coach Rhett Lashley, that's his offense, and there's no question about what they are doing and what they try to do on offense. It's funny how the really good teams have an identity. I don't think that's by coincidence. Yep. The really good teams know what they want to do and how they're going to try to do it. When Clemson was winning championships with that offense, you knew what you had. You knew what you were going to do. When Steve Spurrier was calling offense at South Carolina, you knew what you had. You knew what you're going to do. Jim Carlin had an offense at South Carolina. You knew what Jim Carlin was going to run. They were going to run the split back veer. They were going to run the football. They were going to run the option. They were going to pitch it. It was an identity. It was an offense. Part of the problem that a place like South Carolina is facing right now is really, and I think Chuck touched on it the other night, is a lack of an identity on offense. Exactly what is it they're trying to do? You got a running quarterback that you're trying to make into an NFL-style quarterback, maybe. Or maybe you're relenting here of late and getting more into the RPOs and letting him try and run and use his skills that way. I don't know really what they're trying to do.
It's funny. Their identity, Phil, is based off their special teams. I mean, when you think of Shane Beamer, you think of Beamer ball, and that has nothing to do with the offense. It has everything to do with running kicks back, blocking punts, and the like, and that's really their identity. And that's just not enough, especially in the SEC. You just can't go out there and hope you're going to score with your defense and special teams every game to win a contest. They've got to find a way to get the offense going, and maybe Sean Elliott is the correct formula. Maybe he'll figure out a way with this banged-up offensive line to get it to play much better. They're going to have to, because they're up against a really, really talented defense on Saturday.
All right, our phone number is 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/education wins. Playing for fun is a win for education. And our text line number, brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance, is 803-900-4847. We'll hit up your phone calls. We'll check on those text messages. Send in your picks. If you nail it, if you get it exactly right, we're going to take you to lunch, a delicious buffet lunch, not just any lunch. This isn't McDonald's or Hardee's we're talking about. We're talking about Seawells.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners. So the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
It's a big Thursday, truly a big Thursday. It's our second true big Thursday. We had the fair last Thursday. We got the fair this Thursday. So it's a true big Thursday in Columbia. Phone number 888-898-2525. To the text messages very quickly. This is from the beautiful 803. If South Carolina ends up with a record of 4-8, do you think there would be any great urgency for Shane Beamer to make any further coaching changes. That is very well written. Great use of the word further. Most people don't get that right.
Definitely made with AI, you think?
I don't know.
You think that message was?
I don't know. But I would say that I think that they go 4-8, he'll be looking at everything. He'll be looking at everything. And you also have to see which coaches take jobs somewhere else because they might think, hey, this thing is not going well. I might want to look somewhere else. There could be some off-season exits, departures. But yeah, I think Beamer would look at everything there.
And also to keep in mind, Phil, with regards to that, if the football program goes off the rails the rest of the way, keep in mind Beamer is working now for a guy who did not hire him.
What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying that I think.
Oh, that sounded like a suggestion to me.
I'm just saying I think the scrutiny would be a lot harsher from Jeremiah Donati than maybe it would have been from Ray Tanner.
All right, Terry sends us these picks. SMU 31, Clemson 27, South Carolina. Oh, let's do that the right way. Oklahoma 30, South Carolina 23. Oklahoma 30, South Carolina 23, and SMU 31, Duke 27. Okay, thank you, Terry. We'll save that and see if
Clemson 27.
Yeah, whatever I said. He had it right.
If Duke scores 27, that'd be impressive.
Why did I say Duke? Something must be wrong with me. Can't get the quarterback's name right, can't get the teams right.
I think if Clemson scores 27, you got to tip your cap to Christopher Vizina.
Yeah.
That's not a bad offensive day for them.
That'll be a good offensive day for the Tigers if they can make that happen. And let's see. We've got this from the 803. Got several notes here. South Carolina defense gives up less than 20 points per game a year on the season. Oklahoma ain't scoring 28 or 37 at Williams-Brice. Give me a break. South Carolina line ain't great, but OK O-line is bad as well. Also, from the same writer, 3 minutes earlier, come on, Corn. That's K-O-R-N, by the way. Stop trying to make a worst problem seem catastrophic. Surratt went out early, and at the same time he might play Saturday, played the whole game. Oh, in the same line that might play Saturday, played the whole game. The only twist may have to be put Sharp in so Stanley can be on the bench.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 48. Tomorrow, another gorgeous day. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. A high topping out at 75. For the weekend, Saturday looks wonderful. Sunshine in our skies all day long. 80 degrees the high. Sunday, we expect the clouds to roll in. A 30 to 40% chance we get late afternoon showers. Next week's highs range from the mid-70s to a run around 80 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The leaves are turning. The days are shortening, and the air is cooling. The call of the hunt, getting your gear together, and the walk to the stand are just the beginning of your next great hunting story. Palmetto State Armory is here to help get you prepared for this year's adventures. Top brands, trusted gear, unbeatable prices, and knowledgeable staff. Palmetto State Armory has everything you need to write your next story today.
From more With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Former Trump administration National Security Advisor John Bolton was charged Thursday with storing top secret records at home and sharing with relatives diary-like notes about his time in government that contained classified information. The 18-count indictment also suggests classified information was exposed when operatives believed linked to the Iranian regime hacked Bolton's email account in 2021 and gained access to sensitive material he had shared. Federal prosecutors have charged voting technology firm Smartmatic with money laundering and other crimes arising from more than $1 million in bribes several executives allegedly paid to election officials in the Philippines. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners. So the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
By now you've heard Southern Palmetto Renovations can handle both interior and exterior painting projects, repair rotten wood, deck and fence building, pretty much anything from the roof down. Did you know we also renovate bathrooms? Usually taking only 2 to 3 days to complete a new walk-in shower install, complete with custom colors and styles you choose from. We're very reasonably priced. We are local and have 30 years of satisfied customers. Give us a call, 922-5615. Southern Palmetto Renovations. A job to some, to us, a reputation.
If you're feeling the weight of the world, how about visiting Spa MD in West Columbia? Marcy and her team can provide that perfect massage for individuals or even a couple. Lainey's been several times. She comes home completely revitalized. For a gift, if you're in the doghouse, or just because you love her, check out their options at visitspamd.com or call 251-9400. Leave your stress behind because you know what? You deserve this getaway. Spa MD, 251-9400.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on this big Thursday night. Coming to you from Columbia, Phil Kornblut and the Plumber, and from Sardis, Chris Bergen at the Berge Palace. We'll get to your phone calls coming up, more of your text messages, more of your predictions as well right around the corner. A little bit later on, 7:35, we'll have the M and S boys tonight. We'll have Will Merritt, but no Corey Miller. Corey has an event he's involved with tonight. So filling in will be the good doctor, Rick Sanford, who comes in out of the bullpen here on Sports Talk and delivers fastballs in the 96-97 range. That'll be coming up a little bit later. Plus, we got some good recruiting stuff for you. Also, right now, though, time for another edition of the much-anticipated, much-desired Morgan on the Move. And Mike is brought to you by Play It Again Sports in Harbison, where Chris Mosley runs the best sporting goods shop in the Palmetto State with all those things you want to buy, sell, or trade. Best selection, best prices, with a great friendly staff. That is Play It Again Sports in Columbia.
Sponsored by Mid-State Roofing, South Carolina's leading roofer for over 30 years, protecting what matters most.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Mike, what day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Mike Day.
Woo-hoo!
You know, we could just take up the entire segment mentioning Mike's sponsors. Mike Morgan brought to you by. Mike Morgan brought to you by. Mike Morgan brought to you by.
Well, it is Mike Day.
It is Big Thursday, Mike Day. Welcome in. Mike, how are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Of course, we have to do sponsors since you're too cheap to pay any of your guests. But so far, I think it's gone very well.
Well, that's nice to know. I'm happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
People are under the impression that when they're on this Sports Talk Empire as a guest,
yes,
that you're like the old Braves Network,
yes,
giving out all the watches or something. You're not giving out gift cards to Lizard's Thicket, for crying out loud.
Hey, does Stephen A. Smith pay his guests? Huh?
I'll bet you they get a little something if they're a regular. Absolutely.
They get a bunch of hot air. That's what they get if you sit close enough to it.
Some would say that's what you're getting with me, but
no,
you keep calling me back, so I don't know.
Well, the public demands. We try to give the public
demands.
What the public wants, we give the public what they desire, and that's your 10 minutes of fame. All right.
Yes.
Where do we begin? Let's begin with the Clemson situation, because it looks like, from what Larry Williams reported today, that Klubnik's ankle is not in really good shape. Might not be able to go. In fact, the way he kind of wrote it sort of leads you to believe he won't be able to go, and they go to the backup quarterback, and here comes SMU into town with the quarterback, Keith Jennings, and pretty good offense, maybe kind of a leaky defense on the back end. What do you think this will all mean to Clemson on Saturday?
Oh, the game itself is kind of a matchup of two disappointing teams, is it not? I think a lot of people thought these two teams could have a rematch in the ACC championship game. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'd be shocked if Miami isn't there. Now, who the other team is going to be, who the heck knows? I think Clemson fans will be keeping an eye on that Georgia Tech-Duke game. Duke, believe it or not, is actually I think that's a 1.5-point favorite at home against undefeated Georgia Tech. But that aside, the game specifically, it's weird. I kind of feel like America has lost track of Cade Klubnik. All that hype coming into this season. I mean, if you think about it, the conversations we were having in August, we were talking about two teams in Carolina and Clemson that had top 10 written all over it. And eventually Carolina was in the top 10. It didn't stay there long. You had two quarterbacks that were Heisman Trophy candidates. Clearly, neither one of them is even going to wind up in New York. So it's changed. In the case of Carolina, a lot of the blame goes toward the offensive line and toward the coordinator and everything else. I don't know what it goes to with Clemson. You tell me, where has the progress been for Cade Klubnik? It was not terrible by any stretch, but you're talking about a guy that was considered Heisman Trophy first-round draft pick. What is going on with a healthy Cade Klubnik would be my question.
Well, Clemson's had some similar issues to South Carolina. They've had an unstable offensive line for much of the season. They've dealt with injuries up front. They've had to move some people in and out. They've been a little bit short on the offensive line, so that's been one thing. And then they just didn't play well offensively, regardless of who was on the offensive line. They didn't play well offensively. And then defensively, when they were struggling through the first part of the season, they had trouble stopping the run. They weren't playing up to expectations on the defensive side. They were having trouble on the back end with some passes down the field as well. They had coverage issues. So it was kind of a complete breakdown for them as they got off to that 1-3 start, just overall poor play. We really don't know what they are, because they went and beat a bad North Carolina team and they went and beat a bad Boston College team. And so Is that going to carry over? Is that going to improve their overall performance? And now they're going to be possibly without their quarterback on Saturday. So I think it's going to fall on the backs of that defense to try to contain a really good offense, and then on the back of a backup quarterback who's hardly played to deliver some sort of offense energy for them in place of Klubnik, if that's indeed the case. And now to South Carolina, What did you make of the immediate move on Sunday, or actually I guess it was early Sunday morning, right after they got back from LSU, of making the change with the offensive line coach? And, when that happens, the fans, the public, they're going to expect immediate results. They're going to say, okay, well, we fixed our problem. We got a new guy in there now, new direction, new voice. We expect this offensive line not to jump, not to move, not to draw pre-snap penalties, and all of a sudden they're going to run for about 210 yards a game against the number one defense in the country.
Well, to go back to there was a question in there, I believe, somewhere.
No, just a point, just a statement, the point.
I think where you were headed was, I think at one point is what do you think of the offensive line coach, that move? And my answer would be, it had to be done. It's not as if that's the only problem. Nobody on that offense is lacking culpability. And nobody on that offense has played great football. We could talk about the coordinator. We could talk about the O-line. We could talk about a number of things. Nobody's playing great. But my take on the Tinsley situation, it's one thing if you just get outmanned or even out-schemed, but when you look disorganized, that's what's going to get you fired. I mean, if you're going to get fired in the middle of the season as a position coach, it has to be really bad. And it was awful. So you already have a guy that clearly is more than qualified to come in and try to clean that up. Here's my guess. At bare minimum, I don't know I just had Oklahoma, Texas last week. I think Oklahoma's going to be full of you-know-what and vinegar coming off a loss in that game, and Mateer will play better. But here's what I will tell you for Carolina. I guarantee you there will not be as many penalties on the offensive line as there was last week and weeks previous to that. So if that's the case and they look more organized, then I would say that's a move that clearly was a move that had to be done and turned out to be yield positive results on at least one front.
Mm-hmm. Mike Morgan on the move with us on this big Thursday. And Mike, sort of big picture college football, is this week maybe the biggest knee-jerk week of the season? I mean, with what Penn State did, firing James Franklin 6 games into this season after he guided them to the semifinals last year, and so you've got a $50 million payout you have to pay on the front end. Now on the back end over here, we see today that Indiana has re-signed Kirk Cignetti after a year and a half to the third largest college football contract in the country. I mean, he's done a great job, but I mean, what's the rush on their end, and what was the rush in your mind at Penn State, or was that a rush? Is that something they needed to do?
Well, the Cignetti thing, I had a feeling was going to happen. I think people just can't wrap their arms around the fact that how does a program like Indiana have that kind of money? And the answer is everybody in the Big Ten has that kind of money.
Exactly.
Remember when Jeff Brom was coaching Purdue, he was one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football. That's Purdue. This is Indiana. It doesn't matter. They're all like massive land grant schools with huge enrollments and a huge TV contract that includes Fox, NBC. See, I sound like Kornblut here. They're considering Fox, CBS, NBC, Big Ten Network, and North Carolina. But so when you add all that up, I mean, they all have a lot of money. So my point was earlier this week, don't expect Indiana to lose Cignetti over money. They will spend whatever they need to. It's not just the money. You see if they fire him, they got to pay every penny of that, like $93 million, whatever it is. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he needs to. I think he's quite happy there, and they're going to build a statue of him there. They're not going to build a statue of him or anybody else at Penn State anytime soon. We could go back and forth on Franklin. 70% of his games he wins. They were in the playoff last year. I don't know if it's fair. I do think that this was the team that every Penn State fan was saying, okay, now this is our year. And you couldn't run away from two things if you're James Franklin. Number one, 5-21 against top 10 competition at a school that has immense resources, everything. The whole Joe Paterno scandal, that thing is 15 years in the rear view. That thing was built back up again by Bill O'Brien, and then subsequently with James Franklin. But they have everything you need to win a national championship. They certainly have to be better than 5-21. That Oregon loss in double overtime was so crippling, and then you psychologically let that game beat you 2 more times against vastly inferior opponents that were 20-something point underdogs, and that led to his ruination. I think this is just a sign of the times, guys. I really do. And the people that are now making these decisions, I laugh when I hear people talk about athletic directors as if they are some unilateral power force when it comes to this. If Hugh Freeze, like I'm at Auburn this week, if Auburn loses to Missouri, they go 0-4 in the SEC, there's a very good chance Hugh Freeze will be fired shortly thereafter. The AD is a guy that I know quite well, John Cohen, who used to be a baseball coach in the SEC. He's now the athletic director at Auburn. John Cohen is not going to make that decision on his own. Mr. Yellowwood and some of those guys are going to walk into a room and they're going to show up with their checkbooks, and they are the ones paying for these kind of buyouts. I guarantee you, your average Penn State season ticket holder, they weren't paying the $39 million. Some people say it was Adidas. Some people saying it was the guy that owns the Bills. Who knows? But that's where we are now. If somebody that pays a lot of money to these schools in the day and age of salaries and NIL, if they want you gone, you're gone. Doesn't matter whether it's fair. So, I think Billy Napier's going to get fired. I think Hugh Freeze could get fired. If somebody writes a big check, Mark Stoops could get fired. We had a weird year last year in the SEC where no one got fired. You know what that told me before this season started? Look out, baby, because a lot of heads are going to roll.
Well, since you brought them up during the recruiting report a couple of moments ago, let's look at North Carolina, another team that is vastly underachieving, clearly with a big-name head coach. If we're sitting here in October of next year, is Bill Belichick still the head coach in Chapel Hill?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, Bubba Cunningham is obviously saying all the right things, and I know they have a top 25 recruiting class, and clearly Bill's not walking away. So if they're going to fire him, they're going to have to pay to do it. He's not quitting on his own. So I don't know. I go back and forth on that because I really believe that it's a disaster. But it's a disaster that they might feel like, you know what, we have to ride this out more than 1 year. We have to at least see if the guy can show some progress in year number 2. I don't know many coaches that get fired after 1 year. There's been several that have gotten fired after 2 recently. Willie Taggart at Florida State comes to mind.
Ellis Johnson on line 1.
Well, yeah. That is the one guy. Now, that wasn't Power 4, but you're right. And I would tell you that wasn't all Ellis's fault, but that's a whole other story. But you're right. But I can't think of many others than that. So if the North Carolina brass, clearly somebody loves this guy. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to bring him in. And they didn't bring him in on a discount. He's one of the highest paid coaches in college football. So maybe he gets another year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he will. I'm seeing recruits committing to North Carolina. They just flipped a commitment from another big-time program. I mean, they're convincing players that everything is cool, and I think that you got to give Belichick time. I mean, this has been a debacle this year. He inherited this team. Maybe he didn't know what he was getting into. Maybe he didn't understand the workings of the college world, which is morphing into the workings of the pro world, but still it's the college world to some degree. I think he's going to be fine. You just got to give him a little bit of time. I'm seeing here, too, that if Indiana fires Curt Cignetti without cause during the new deal, he gets $93.25 million fully guaranteed. I cannot believe another school is putting itself into this kind of bind. This guy, I mean, Curt Cignetti, I'm sure he's an excellent coach, James Madison and here, but come on. He's what's this, a 9-year deal? And you're putting yourself in a bucket for that kind of money. I mean, very easily, it could turn in a heartbeat. You lose a quarterback, you suffer a bad season, you have a string of injuries. 2 years from now, they're at the bottom of the Big Ten or the middle. People be calling for his head, and you're going to be on the line for $93 million. I can't believe schools continue to put themselves into these kind of corners financially.
Well, it's not going away. I mean, look, his situation is a little unique. He had ultimate leverage because Szygety is on the top of everybody's list, whether it's Penn State, whether it's Florida when it does come open, whether it's some of these other gyms. He had all the leverage, and when buyouts aren't given out of the graces of the goodwill of these schools and their ADs. They're given because whether it makes sense or not. I'm not here to defend buyouts because God knows in our world, you get fired, there's no busting. You're lucky if you get 3 months severance. But I understand the business, and the business is the reason why Jimmy Sexton, Trace Armstrong, and these guys are able to pull this off is that they know that's the market. They know that if you don't give them the buyout, someone else will. So when a coach has the leverage, he's going to maximize it. He's absolutely going to maximize it. Mark Stoops at Kentucky, $40 million buyout. Now, they didn't give that because Mark Stoops is just an overwhelmingly charming individual. They gave it to him because he got 2 10-win seasons at Kentucky when that was unheard of. Well, now it's gone south, and now you're saddled with a $40 million buyout. But you wouldn't have kept him if you didn't give him the $40 million buyout. So I don't know what the answer is. But it's not as simple as, well, you just shouldn't give anybody buyouts. Well, that's fine if you don't have a coach that anybody wants. But when you have a coach that actually has some cachet and is desired and coveted by other schools, the rule of thumb is you're going to have to give a buyout to keep him in town.
How much will Florida owe Billy Napier? There was a report yesterday. Again, this is one of those wishy-washy reports from USA Today. Could be fired as soon as this weekend, Florida head coach, per USA Today Sports. According to sources, the AD met with a handful of influential boosters and was told continuing financial support depends on a new direction within the football program. Another case of the tail wagging the dog, Mike. We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, Yahoo is reporting I might have breakfast tomorrow. So really great.
Well, unless you get hit by a car tonight crossing the street, I mean.
Well, that's why you have to hedge your bets. You can't. It's not a lock of a story. We can't guarantee it. I think Billy's as good as gone. The buyout, not that it even matters at this point. It's lower than the other ones we're talking about. I think it's in the low 20s. I just can't. Beating Mississippi State is not going to be enough to keep his job. There are losses left on that schedule. He's got a losing record at Florida for 3 years. He's gone. And they got to figure out, can they get Lane Kiffin? And if they don't, if they swing and miss on Lane Kiffin, now where do you go? Because you don't want to miss again because you missed on the last 3.
James Franklin's available.
James is going to get another job.
Oh, yeah.
Now, James is not for everybody. I will tell you that. I go back to covering James at Vanderbilt. James can be a little bit difficult. He can be a little bit of a handful. So he's not for everybody. But James will certainly, with that resume, get another job.
Mike, be careful crossing the street over there on the plains. Look out for don't touch the toilet paper hanging from those trees. That's important to those people there.
Yes. EliteMediaNetwork.com if anybody wants to catch the game. The kickoff will be at 7:55 at night.
7:55. Is that Central or Eastern?
Eastern time.
Eastern time, 7:55.
We live in an Eastern time world. Yes, sir.
There you go. I'll be listening on my way home from Williams-Brice.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mike. You too, guys. Take care.
Kentucky, by the way, speaking of Kentucky, their NIL payroll for their basketball roster, according to the Lexington newspaper, is $22 million, likely the highest paid roster in the sport. So they're doing $22 million of NIL for their men's basketball roster alone. Be right back.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller-Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit LawyerLisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
This is Perry Orth, former South Carolina quarterback. On the field, my job was simple. Read the defense, protect the ball, and give my team the best chance to win. Off the field, at Moultrie Insurance, our job is no different. Help protect your business from the risks that you don't see coming, so you can focus on moving the ball forward. Just like a good quarterback, we anticipate challenges, call the right plays, and keep you protected. Trust Moultrie Insurance to cover your blind side and keep your business in the game. Visit MoultrieINS.com today.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Day, the music died. We started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys would drink.
All right, approaching the top of the hour. Let's see if Hank can get it in about 90 seconds or less. Hank, go ahead, sir.
Hey, Quan.
Hey.
I was just calling the listening yesterday, but I appreciate both of the coaches and what they say. I did take some umbrage about just when you say certain players are just average and this and that and the other, because I remember last year Chuck Reed said that Carolina really didn't have any receivers out there that could do anything on the college level at one time, and it was like I was looking and I said, it's hard to tell until the scheme is really good, because the Larberdan kid that was with us last year that's in the NFL and making catches all over the place on Sundays was a part of that crew from last year. And then when you look at this year with this O-line, it may be more scheme. No, not with the O-line, but for the offense, more scheme, and that falls on who's calling the scheme.
Well, does the scheme have to fit the players, or do the players have to fit the scheme? And as the head coach, do you have to have an OC who puts a scheme in that works for the players that you have acquired? Be right back, top of the hour break.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton has been charged with storing top-secret records at home and sharing with relatives notes that contain classified information. The 18-count indictment Thursday also suggests classified information was exposed when operatives believe linked to the Iranian regime hacked Bolton's email account in 2021 and gained access to sensitive material he had shared. The investigation into Bolton, who served for more than a year in President Trump's administration before being fired in 2019 and emerging as an outspoken critic of the Republican leader, emerged in August when FBI agents raided his home and office. President Trump confirmed that the CIA is at work inside Venezuela. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
President Trump told reporters at an Oval Office event he authorized covert CIA operations inside Venezuela, blaming the South American country for allowing criminals and drugs to flow into the U.S. Trump says he is also considering land operations there.
Because we've got the sea very well under control.
Early this month, the administration declared drug cartels to be unlawful combatants. Since early September, U.S. forces have conducted at least 5 strikes in the Caribbean, resulting in 27 deaths. Jennifer King, Washington.
Federal prosecutors have charged voting technology firm Smartmatic with money laundering and other crimes arising from more than $1 million in bribes several executives allegedly paid to election officials in the Philippines. The payments between 2015 and 2018 were made to obtain a contract with the Philippines government to help run that country's 2016 presidential election. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 301 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. You're an adult, right? But you should know gold has increased over 80% in the past 2 years. Yeah, 80%. So if you think stuffing money under your mattress or riding the roller coaster of Wall Street is your retirement plan, well, I wouldn't want to be banking on that strategy. It's time to diversify your savings and retirement assets into physical metals like gold and silver. That's where Advantage Gold comes in. When you call 800-741-GOLD, we'll send you a free gold kit that explains how rolling over your IRA or 401k into gold could not only supercharge your retirement, but maybe even help preserve your sanity. And let's be real, when's the last time you ever heard someone say, "Hey, sell all your gold"? Exactly. Never. The number's simple. 800-741-4653. And if you can spell, even better. That's 800-741-GOLD. Always consult with your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
For many young Americans, deciding on college has become a complex choice. Bob Agnew reports.
Confidence in higher education has dropped due to high tuition, student loans, and a tough job market. With much of the concern centered on the real-world value of a degree, many colleges are now trying to focus on the financial benefits of degrees. Research shows most bachelor's degrees still pay off, but not all lead to good-paying jobs. More students are choosing technical schools of trades over four-year universities to avoid debt, and colleges are working to align degrees with the job market needs. Bob Agnew reporting.
Governor Gavin Newsom says California will begin selling affordable insulin under its own label on January 1st, nearly 3 years after he first announced a partnership to sell state-branded generic drugs at lower prices. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 48. Tomorrow, another gorgeous day. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. A high topping out at 75. For the weekend, Saturday looks wonderful. Sunshine in our skies all day long. 80 degrees the high. Sunday, we expect the clouds to roll in. A 30 to 40% chance we get late afternoon showers. Next week's highs range from the mid-70s to a run around 80 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, we're back on Sports Talk Media Network here on a big Thursday night from the capital city. And we're so happy that you're with us. We know you got a lot of choices out there to listen to or to read or to view. And we're just so happy that you make Sports Talk your choice every night from 6 to 8, whether it's over the air or via one of our streams on YouTube or Facebook or X, or on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. You can always find us somewhere, somehow. Just make a little bit of an effort. Coming up, 7:35, it'll be the M&S boys tonight. No Corey Miller, Rick Sanford substituting for Corey Miller with Will Merritt, so M&S. Get that? M&S. That's pretty clever of the plumber, Bergie, to come up with that.
No, you came up with it. I heard you say it earlier in the show.
Well,
I just took it, yeah.
Kind of joking. I didn't realize you're actually going to use it. A couple of other notes, and we got recruiting coming up for you as well. If you want to jump on board, the phone number is 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Text message line is 803-900-4847. Dutch Fork standout defensive end Julian Walker received his official invitation today to the Navy All-American Bowl. He's having a great year, being very heavily recruited. Women's basketball, Kentucky's Dominika Parova. Dominika Parova, torn ACL. Apparently that's a pretty significant blow there for the Kentucky women. Adidas says here by a reporter, Adidas is involved with the next Penn State hire. There you go. Let's bring in the shoe companies as well. Let's let everybody in. They're trying to protect their new massive investment, this writer says. In fact, his name is George Wrightster. They did not get Franklin fired, but they are definitely pushing to get one particular coach, he says. Question is, will he say yes, and what if they play into January?
Interesting.
Okay.
Because there was a report that Adidas was helping to pay the buyout of James Franklin, and then I think there were other reports that came out and said, no, that's not the case. But clearly, the shoe company getting involved here. This is interesting.
I know I'm naive. I really was born in a shack in a small country town in South Carolina. I really was. I am as naive as they come. Okay? It just burns me that athletic directors, university presidents are so spineless. I mean, they just, whatever the money people say, they will do. It's just gotten to that point where they're just so totally money driven that nothing else matters. I mean, fire a coach because, maybe the coach is going bad, but fire the coach because we're going to pull our money if you don't. Who runs the schools? Who really run? Mike was not joking when he said the Yellowwood guy down there in Auburn
indeed
runs the program. That's just, I don't know.
Well, we've got reports out today that the North Carolina GM of the football program flew to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Saudis. And that's all about money and how they can get involved with college football at UNC. Where does it stop?
Or maybe he wants to join the Live Golf Tour.
Maybe so. Maybe they're actually looking into North Carolina golf, not the football team, and they got it confused. I don't know. But good grief.
College of Charleston baseball will host Clemson on March 17th at Patriots Point. CFC last hosted Clemson in 2017. All right, good to see that.
Good for Chad Holbrook and those guys.
And
good for Clemson to agree to do that.
And also, I saved this for you because I think your longtime argument about banning fans from going onto the fields or courts after games is becoming more and more the proper course here. So, don't know if you saw this. A player by the name of Chase Sowell.
Yeah, the Iowa State situation.
Yeah. And I saved this because I wanted to bring this up. Chase Sowell, a player for Iowa State, and Iowa State was playing the other day, and they got beat. They were playing at
Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah. And for some reason, Colorado's fans felt like that was a significant enough win to storm the field. And one, I don't know what to call him. Juvenile delinquent, jerk.
That fits. I like that. Yes.
Whatever.
Juvenile delinquent.
Sewell is trying to get off the field, minding his own business, carrying his helmet, and this dope is trying to take his helmet from him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's video, of course. And, Sewell is fighting back. He's like, no, let go of my helmet, Yeah. And so my point is, first of all, that cat should have been arrested and banned from, ever setting foot back into that stadium in Boulder. And Sowell, of course, a lot of people apparently reached out to him. He was thanking everyone for reaching out. He said both athletic directors have reached out and checked on me with an apology for the incident. while also getting it all figured out. So, I mean, yeah, I think you've really either you got to build moats around these fields so people and fill them with alligators so people can't get to them, or huge fences or something. I mean, it's a player is going to get hurt.
Yes,
and
severely hurt, or a fan is going to get hurt, and then they'll want to blame the player. And Sewell showed great restraint because what he should have done was taken his helmet and bashed the other guy's head in.
Yeah.
Because there's no business for that happening. And until colleges realize they've got to stop this nonsense, this is going to continue until something tragic happens. And I'm afraid of this. We saw it in NASCAR. NASCAR knew those cars were dangerous, and they didn't do anything about it until Dale Earnhardt Sr. was killed. And then you now see all the safety improvements in NASCAR made. It's remarkable how safe those cars are now. This, I hope, does not get to that point, but somebody's got to step in and stop this nonsense. And Phil, again, the only way to do it is you start taking away wins from teams.
Yep, absolutely.
Colorado should have to forfeit that game for that reason.
That's what I said that the other time it came up. Until you start. Well, I know when it was because the schools are more than happy to pay the fine. What's $50,000 to Texas A&M? What's $100,000 to Alabama? Whatever the case may be.
Well, I think Deion even came out and said, hey, if every fan who came to the game just donated $1 or whatever it was, that would cover the fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's almost joking about it.
I mean, I hate to see what used to be a fun tradition go away, but it's not fun anymore because today's fan is an ignorant. I want to watch my mouth here. Is just ignorant. Today's fan is just the young fan. Today's young fan is just basically ignorant. Not saying them all, but there's enough of them. This is your Barstool subscriber. This is your subscriber to, the various websites that spend more time throwing rocks at each other than actually talking sports. That's what they thrive on. And so they cut loose on a field. They tore down the goalposts after this game. We're talking about Iowa State here, people, that already had a loss. It wasn't like the number one team in the country. And so, yeah, I'm afraid if he had hit this guy with his helmet, the guy's probably some fraternity brat whose father's a powerful lawyer. They'd have probably sued him for all he was worth.
No question. Yeah.
All for self-defense, and, it would have been a bigger mess. But he would have been well within his rights to club the guy.
There's no doubt.
So I think what you've got to declare the field live. You've got to declare the field live until the visiting team has left, okay? Hold off on your alma mater and everything else. The field is a live area until – what is so hard about this? The field is a live area until the players have gone through their post-game handshakes and the coaches have met and the visiting team has left the field. And then if you want to let your people onto the field, then so be it. Otherwise, if you violate that, you should be – it's a live field. It's still a live game as far as the field of play. You are subject to a forfeit by doing that. I think it's a common sense idea.
Yeah, go back to the Virginia-Florida State game a couple of weeks ago. Florida State had just, I think, the incomplete pass on fourth down or whatever it was. The ball had barely hit the ground before the students are on top of the Florida State players.
Yeah. Yeah, what are they waiting on? What are they waiting on? You know what they are? Administrators are too busy looking at their bank accounts and sucking up to the various TV outlets and their big money people to really care about their players and their safety when it comes to this.
Here's a way they could save $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 right here. Pretty simple way to save that money. But
gutless.
Obviously.
Yep. Spineless, gutless money whores. That's what they are. That's what they've all become. Sad to say, but it's the truth, as I see it. All right, phone number 888-898-2525. Let's go to, a really nice guy. Let's go to Tiger Bryan in Lancaster. Tiger Bryan, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I want to wish you a happy Boss Day. You know what? You've been the boss on Sports Talk for me for, 28, 30 years? I mean, it's been a long time. You know what I mean? That's Boss Day, man. You deserve to be the boss. There's been a lot of your sidekicks come and go. You always have a good crew, though. I'm not taking nothing away from none of y'all over the years. All right?
They've all been great. They've all been great.
I ain't lying. Good day. I was happy Boss Day, brother. But listen.
Is today Boss Day? Is today a Boss Day? Is it?
Yeah, National Boss Day.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, my wife told me. So
Well, hang on a second. Let me see if any of my people here have gotten me anything for National Boss Day, Plumber.
Oh, my God. They ought to know that.
Huh? I didn't realize today was National
Boss Day.
Boss Day.
Boss Day.
Well, thank you.
I'm actually an independent contractor, so I don't have a boss.
Don't tell the.
I'll send you an
Let-
e-card
let me-
here in just a couple of minutes, Phil.
Call the IRS and tell them that. All right.
got some
Why am I
people
paying
in
payroll
IRS.
taxes then if you're an independent contractor? Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's got some of them people, NIL people, contracting him working for you there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. You need to look at his contract.
Yeah.
I thought
Tiger
I
Brian.
thought you liked that.
Tiger Brian, what's going on with you Tigers? It's going to be.
Well, I've got. Well, we're gonna be all right.
I don't know.
Look,
I'm worried for you. I'm worried for you.
listen to me. I want to know what kind of crow you want me to cook you for Monday. So I'm gonna be at Lake Green.
Barbecue. I want barbecue crow.
Oh, barbecue. You want the mustard base or vinegar?
Vinegar, please. Hot. I like it.
Well, you
I
don't
like
have
it hot.
vinegar, 'cause I'm telling you, all we got to do is run the ball. Our defense, our team has been shamed at home this year.
Mhm.
We won't be shamed this week. I promise you.
You don't.
But you know what? Tom Allen got on the field. He gets in their face. He gets it. He gets them motivated. You can't do that up there on the headset. You know what I mean?
Well, you're expecting a butt kicking then, huh?
No, I'm saying.
I mean, you're kicking their butt. You're kicking their butt.
You wouldn't say a butt kicking 28-14. Now I've been listening.
I'm saying you're going to lose.
Well, hey, I'm saying you're gonna eat crow.
Okay.
I love you. Hey, you gonna eat crow?
All right. I'll eat crow.
We
I'll
gonna
eat
run
crow
the
with the
ball.
best of them.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if we run the ball and keep that boy off the offense, I mean, he's a good quarterback. I mean, he's a magic man. I mean, he's real good. Yeah, but Pyramid was who if Cade can't go, Pyramid ought to be in there. He's a baller. You think he's better than CD?
Come on.
Huh?
I mean, come on. Seriously?
No,
if Klubnik can't play, you're doomed. You're doomed.
Man, okay.
It's over.
All right,
It's over.
I'm gonna be catching catfish Monday night.
Okay.
I called in. I don't want to wait no hour. 30
We're going to
minutes.
bring
I mean,
you.
I don't care if I wait.
Make a note of this,
I'll be
Plumber.
catching
Since
catfish.
I'm the boss, and you're the employee. Tiger Brian goes to the front of the line.
Independent contractor, not employee.
Hey,
Goes to the front of the line.
Listen to me, Cole.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to eat crow, I like mine behind 57.
All right. I can get you some Heinz. I'm an A1 guy myself. I'm an A1 guy,
Well,
but I can.
I'll put A1 on your crows. I'll be A1, all right.
I can tolerate Heinz 57. All right, Tiger Brian, you enjoy Lake Greenwood, you and the missus. And
Yeah, we will. Hey, I cooked a boss lady got.
you know, Halloween is coming up, so be on the lookout for what's that guy's name?
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers. Yeah, I met Michael Myers. You know,
Are you talking about Jason Voorhees since he's going out to the lake?
is that the one that does the murders by the lake? No, I met Michael Myers. I met the guy in Columbia who played Michael Myers in the last. I told you this story. Thank you, Tiger Brown. We got to go to the break. Plumber's over here shaking his head like I don't know what I'm talking about.
This is true.
I met. He was a friend of Ellis Johnson's. We were having lunch. He comes walking in. He goes, "You know who that is?" I go, "No, I don't know who that is." He goes, "That's Michael Myers." The guy that played Michael Myers. Because nobody would know it because he had a mask on the whole time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But this was the guy. Ew, super nice guy. Really, really cool dude. Yeah, he played the last Michael Myers. So there you go. He'll be on the look for Tiger Brian.
Hi, this is Billy Downer from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Are you looking for a safe place to shoot your rifle or handgun? Did you know that the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources operates 4 manned ranges across the state in Pickens County, Spartanburg County, Richland County, and Charleston County? For more information on our public ranges, visit dnr.sc.gov/shooting.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
As a boss, our fearless leader couldn't make our work life sweeter. Meeting deadlines, bandwidth crunches, working oftentimes for dinner times and lunches. Texts and emails keep on pinging, and your cell phone's always ringing. Headaches stack up by the cradeful. It's for all the things and more that I'm so grateful.
Hey, thank you to all my wonderful employees, all one of you.
Happy Boss's Day.
Thank
Corn.
you. I'm not your boss. You're
Well,
actually.
then that's from Josh.
Well, I am his boss, unfortunately.
I don't file as an employee. I
Unfortunately.
file as a contractor, so we might have some issues with the IRS.
What I
this year. I'm not
say, he
sure.
does. When I say, you know what? When I say to Josh to jump, his response is, how high? When I say jump, you say, how high?
That's not how high.
That's,
I know, that's not what I
exactly
said,
how it
no.
works. Got a text in here from the 803. Clemson fan here, apparently. Cade will play. All this talk is nothing unexpected. We were all told Sunday he would miss practice early this week and slowly work back into practice. Now it's reported he didn't practice early this week. Big surprise? Also, is reported CV is taking snaps with first team. Who did we expect to take snaps with first team if Cade is out? I say he plays. He will probably not take off and run, but I expect him to play. Dabo even mentioned that he wanted back in last Saturday, but they held him since we had a big lead and put CV in. Cade will play. All right, but how well will he play on a bum ankle? That's the other question you have to consider. Let's go.
But I think 70% of Cade Klubnik may still be better than 100% of Christopher Vizina. That's the only problem. We just don't know.
That's right.
How good CV is.
That is correct. But again, how healthy is Klubnik? And
Very good question.
You know, one hit on the ankle, you're going to find out. But we'll see. Let's go to Andy in Columbia. Next up on the program, Andy, welcome in. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How about you, gentlemen?
We're doing wonderful.
Okay. Corn, when you introduce Chris there, you should remember Finn is accompanying him in Sardis.
I should mention Finn. We should give Finn we should mention Finn, give him a call out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do hear him pretty often, so.
Hey, Finn.
Yeah.
Welcome, Finn.
I mean, he's right there, right with Chris, so he should be mentioned.
We should give Finn,
let me give you
Finn
a
a
score.
headset.
Go ahead.
That would be good. That would be
Thanks,
great.
Andy.
For
Appreciate
YouTube.
that.
Hey. Let me give you a score.
All right, before you do, let me read something here. This might influence you. Shane Beamer on his show tonight. Brandon Cesay's doing well. Has practiced this week. Expects him to be able to play. Practice today felt good. Kaysen Henry, Nolan Hay will be out. Shed Surratt should be good, though he isn't 100%. Okay? But, again, let me say this. I mean, Shed Surratt, man, he's a true freshman. True freshman. And you're throwing him up there. Well, I mean, he's played. He obviously must be among the best they've got because they're playing him right away. I can remember in the day an offensive lineman, a true freshman, would never see the light of day during a game unless you were a future John Hanna or something. So, I mean, maybe he's just the best that they've got to go with right now. But he's not 100%, so you're going to have to keep a watch out on that knee. He hurt that knee, and it looked pretty significant when he hurt it last week, but good for him that it wasn't anything more than what it was last week. All right, go ahead.
And I'm sure they'll be going after his knee also, knowing these players out here and the way they play. 24-17. And if I win, the person I want to go with is Dr. Rick.
Well, now you have to text us.
Part of the gang?
You have to text us. You have to text us because we have to be able to.
I don't have to text you. I gave you my score.
No, you have to. You're breaking the rules. Okay, now here you are. You're coming in. It's boss day. I'm the boss. I say what goes. You have to text us.
And also, Andy, we can't remember if you just call it in. At least text messages, we have it on record.
You got Josh there to write it down. Josh, write down my.
He doesn't.
Andy, it's disqualified. Disqualification.
Because I'm not going to do anything for Clemson. Because if I want a meal for Clemson, a Clemson thing, I would have indigestion and wouldn't be able to eat it.
You could pick Clemson to lose, and if you get it right, there you go.
Just doing anything with Clemson gives me indigestion. Winning, losing, anything that has to do with Clemson gives me indigestion.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll see a little bit of improvement on the offensive line. Just as Morgan said, and I hate to repeat Morgan because he's not one of my most favorite people to listen to. Hopefully we won't be seeing the offensive line make so many unforced penalties as movements. The offsides, the pre-snap penalties. Hopefully we won't be seeing any of that. And hopefully they won't start learning how to hold because we don't need any of that. I don't think we've seen much holding coming from them. We've seen a lot more pre-snap penalties. And also I'd like to see a little bit more of our wide receivers be able to pick up the ball a little bit more than what we've been seeing. I think we haven't been seeing our wide receiver core play as well as we thought we were going to see coming into the year. Just my personal opinion.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good hearing from you. Quick text message from the 803. Surratt's injury was an ankle. Also, Thompson, Wanham, and a few others played as true freshmen and did well. Be right back.
On Point Weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 48. Tomorrow, another gorgeous day. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. A high topping out at 75. For the weekend, Saturday looks wonderful. Sunshine in our skies all day long. 80 degrees the high. Sunday, we expect the clouds to roll in. A 30 to 40% chance we get late afternoon showers. Next week's highs range from the mid-70s to a run around 80 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted at Flight Deck Restaurant. We at Flight Deck Restaurant would like to honor those that sacrifice so much for our community. We are now offering 20% discount for all law enforcement officers, first responders, active duty military, hospital workers, ministers, chaplains, rabbis, and priests will receive 20% off your meal for all those that serve. Flight Deck Restaurant wants to thank you for all that you do to keep us safe, healthy, and free. Just show your ID and enjoy a great meal for 20% off. Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Prosecutors with SRN News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Former Trump administration National Security Advisor John Bolton was charged Thursday with storing top-secret records at home and sharing with relatives diary-like notes about his time in government that contained classified information. The 18-count indictment also suggests classified information was exposed when operatives believed linked to the Iranian regime hacked Bolton's email account in 2021 and gained access to sensitive material he had shared. Bolton denies any wrongdoing in the case and says the charges are part of a Trump effort to intimidate opponents. Federal prosecutors have charged voting technology firm Smartmatic with money laundering and other crimes arising from more than $1 million several executives paid to election officials in the Philippines. This is SRN News.
The top international business school in the country is here in Columbia, and you can hear directly from the Darla Moore School. Join me, Casey Whitener, for more impact, phenomenal guests, and work that impacts our community and our state. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m. on 100.7 The Point.
I don't know too many folks out there who love paying taxes, but what about getting tax credits? That's appealing, right? My buddy Ken at Broker Solar is in the tax credit business. How would you like a solar battery that helps do two things? First, it serves as an instant generator the moment the power cuts out, and it doesn't even require gasoline. Secondly, it lets you take some control back from the power companies. Yeah, you can use solar power during the peak hours when your power company wants to charge you the most. Oh, and that tax credit on solar batteries, you can get a 30% tax credit right now. This is a phenomenal time to reach out to Ken. He'll come out to your home or your business. He'll give you a comprehensive free estimate, answer any questions. Solar isn't free, but you need to take advantage of those credits when they do come around. Call Ken right now. Save on a solar-powered battery. Online, find him at brokersolar.com or just call Ken, 807-7417. That's 807-7417, Broker Solar.
I'm Ram Reddy. South Carolina's government is broken. We're the highest tax rate state in America, but we rank at the bottom in income, education, roads, and public safety. Government is rich and powerful, but we, the citizens, have been made weak and poor. That's not what our founders intended. The Palmetto Revolution will restore the 1776 vision of our founders, returning money and power to you. Will you join us?
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
All right, welcome back into Sports Talk Media Network. Time now for the M&S. No M&M tonight. Corey notified me that he had a church thing going on with some special guests he couldn't break away. We gave him a pass on that, totally understandable, for the pastor of pain. But we have a most suitable replacement. In fact, he could have been a star in the movie The Replacements. Because he could have gone out there and cracked some heads. We welcome in the good doctor, the number one draft pick, number 25 on your roster, but number one in your hearts, Dr. Rick Sanford. Welcome in, my friend.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Glad to be here, and I hope Will is doing well up there in Tigerville.
Welcome in, Mr. Will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And hello, Dr. Rick. I hope you're doing good. Hadn't heard from you in a long time, and I hope you're doing really, really well down in the Midlands.
Thank you, sir.
The Midlands. All right, let's begin with you, Will, because the big news is the ankle of Klubnik's. And what are you hearing? Because I know you got your contacts and your insiders and all that. What are you hearing?
Well, you're only going to hear so much until obviously Saturday. And Phil, the posturing that coaches do now with the injury report and with the lineups and the depth charts and 2 deep and 3 deep and how they try to manipulate those things. I don't think there'll be much change as far as Klubnik. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to go. Will he be full speed? I don't know that. I know they're not going to make that determination until Saturday. But I do know that, as you know, a lot of backup guys are getting reps throughout this week of practice, just in case Kay cannot go door to door.
Yeah. So what do you do? Let's just say he can't or he's not effective. Yep. What do you think they do? How do they adjust their offense for Vizina or anybody else?
I don't think you adjust it at all. I think the only thing that you might adjust a little bit is just because of, I think Cade would probably be a guy that you would have to hold the pocket a little bit longer than Vizina. I think that the screen package might come into play a whole lot more. I think a lot of your just quick hot routes and your back out of the backfield, maybe some backdoor wheel routes, things that are easier passes, shorter, intermediate throws to get him comfortable. I think Cade would be the guy that is he in there, keep that pocket secure, let him try to, take that 35, 40, 45-yard shot downfield as we've seen in the last couple of weeks that he is very capable of doing. I do not think you would necessarily have the playbook open to that magnitude if you're at your 2, or even if Trent Pearman were to come in as well. Then you go back to a little bit more of a running game with the quarterback. So I think the play calling will probably be associated pretty directly with what style quarterback is in there at that time.
All right, Dr. Rick, the Gamecocks had an eventful week coming off that loss to LSU, the firing of the offensive line coach, shifting of Sean Elliott over there, and made some adjustments at tight end. Coach Burris now over there handling that group. So what do you make of all that, and what do you think the end result, the package will be offensively when they take on Oklahoma?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Phil. If they're not able to run the football any better than they have been, this will be a long day. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just be right up front, because this is a very simple game to me. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to run the football to open up some kind of routes for Sellers to make some kind of difference in this game. And this is not looking good when you look at the statistics going in. And you're looking at a team that is, second in the SEC in sacks, and you're playing an offensive line like South Carolina has put forward so far, and, rightfully so that they have had some injuries, Phil. I understand that. But I don't think that's a big excuse, quite honestly. I think South Carolina just has to get better players up front. And at this point, if they're not able to move Oklahoma, they have to establish a running game. This game will not be any sort of a game without South Carolina establishing something with the running game.
So if you're Mike Shula, do you just – you can't be stubborn. If it's not going, it's not going. And when you say running game, are you kind of insinuating more with Lenora Sellers and trying to get him – he tried to run the ball against LSU. He had 22 carries, but only a net of 19 yards. It really had 5 sacks. So they've got to figure something out in that area as well.
Well, they've got to find some running back that can run the football. But, I don't blame the running backs as much as I blame the offensive line, Phil. I think you have to open up holes up front. And I don't care who you are. You can put Walter Payton back there, and it's not going to make a whole lot of difference if he doesn't have a hole up front to run through. So I just think South Carolina has got to move people up front. And if they can't move Oklahoma, which not a lot of teams have been able to do that. Now, Texas was able to exploit it a little bit, but this is a very, very good football team, particularly their front four on defense. And I just, if South Carolina can't do this, they're going to be in some severe trouble, because I don't think you just, hinge all your hopes on Sellers here. You've got to have a running back that can, hit holes. And right now they've just not established any holes up front, Phil, and it's showing. And right now I don't see a positive outlook unless they can move Oklahoma and control the football.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick,
yeah.
Will, and you can comment on this as an offensive lineman. Their top 3 defensive tackles: Jaden Jackson is 322, Demonic Williams is 323, David Stone is 310. I mean, they're a load inside, and I mean South Carolina's got some. Well, if they start Stanley at center, they're about 285 there, 290. But I mean, what's it like when you're a little bit maybe undersized as an offensive lineman trying to move that kind of bulk, that kind of size and strength?
Well, I was just going to piggyback on what Rick said. Really, I think you could actually take Clemson and South Carolina, and this is going to be an interchangeable comment that I'm going to make, that both programs, you could almost say, has been the cause for the demise in the running game, and it's all about second level. And if you look at what Clemson and South Carolina, neither team has been able to get to the second level and just get a hat on a hat. I don't care how undersized you are. I don't care if you're giving up 25, 30 pounds to the offensive lineman, to a defensive tackle, to a rush in, even to a linebacking core. None of that really matters as long as you're in the way, and it's about getting hat on a hat. And I don't think Clemson or South Carolina, either one, have done a good job of allowing that second level blocking, straining inside the box downfield, so that when you do have your talented running backs in there, they've got a little bit, they can read some clear and cloudy about where they're wanting to go in between the tackles. You give them some daylight, they are dangerous players. But as Rick said, when you don't have daylight, it doesn't matter, and it's really about that initial push, the line of scrimmage and scraping off to get to that second level. That's where the running game starts to succeed for either side.
Well, to be totally fair and honest here, looking at some of the sizes for the Gamecocks here, Rick, if Stanley's your starting center, they do list him at 325. If Surratt's able to go at left guard, he's 336. Thompson's 300. Baugh is 335. And Babilotti, because Henry's out, Babilotti's 330 at right tackle. Actually, that's some good bulk on the Gamecock side as well. Why can't they just line up and push these guys away, move them around?
It's about honestly, and Will will back me up on this, I think a lot of it is like what he said. You got to have technique, and then when you get in that second level, once you push somebody to one side, you've got to be able to move downfield and move people also. And I just don't think South Carolina, and really Clemson as well, they've not done a good job at that. And this is a very, very scary game, in my opinion, for South Carolina, because if you can't move these guys, this is going to be a long day. I mean, I'm serious, because I think this team up front is as good as anybody in the SEC. And if you can move these guys, you will be successful. But if you're not going to be able to move these guys this way, you're not going to be able to open up your passing game. And you know, that all year, Sellers has taken a beating in terms of his reputation, in regards to, well, what's wrong with Sellers? There's really not a whole lot wrong with him. Sure, he's got some flaws. I mean, all players have flaws, and he hasn't performed 100% all the time. But you know what, Phil? He doesn't have enough time to perform. I mean, the guy's back there running for his life at times.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if I'm gonna be South Carolina and probably Clemson next year, I'm going into the portal, man. And I don't care. I'm going to find me some offensive linemen who are mean, ugly. I don't care what it takes, but I'm going to find somebody that can protect my passer, because this has been not a good thing for him. I mean, and yeah, he's still rated highly with the NFL draft and all that, but that's based on potential, Phil. It's not because of everything that's happened for him this year. And I know it's been somewhat disappointing for him, but my point is that I think that he is a really, really good football player, but if you can't find him any space, then that doesn't amount to anything. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, South Carolina's got to find a way to find this man space to perform, because right now he doesn't have any.
M&S boys tonight. Rick Sanford sitting in for Corey Miller. Will Merritt with us as well. And Will, I wanted to get your take as a former offensive lineman of what South Carolina did this week, firing Lonnie Teasley, the offensive line coach. Don't know if that ever happened during your career, but if so, did it influence you in any way? Did it make you guys play any better? And how do you think the Gamecock offensive line, aside from what we've already been discussing, how do you think they'll respond to Sean Elliott going forward?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think Sean Elliott's a fantastic football coach, and I think he'll do a great job. I think that you had to do something. I'm not so sure that it would. I think you probably there maybe been 6 or 7 different guys on any staff in the middle of the year when you're trying to shake things up, rock the boat, and get everybody's attention. And somebody has got to be the first one to go. I really think there had a lot to do with that. I think the offensive line, like Rick had just mentioned, underperforming, made it a very easy target to make a change there. I do think it can be very, very productive, though. A new voice in that film study room, a new approach, a new technique, a new this, a new that. Sometimes it's just different verbiage and how the game is approached by a different position coach can make all the difference in the world.
All right, so we're at the halfway point. Both teams are 3-3. Both teams are basically out of their conference races. Both teams are out of the national championship. I mean, basically the only thing to live for is the Palmetto Bowl. Let's get the rivalry meter reading from the two of you tonight, since that's really all we're living for now. Dr. Rick is our very special guest, an honored guest tonight. On a scale of 1 to 10, you, of course, rooting for the Gamecocks. What is your confidence level that the Gamecocks will beat the Tigers in late November?
Well, I think they both had difficulties. I think it's been a difficult year to this point, and South Carolina's not been able to run the football. Clemson's not been able to run football. South Carolina's not been able to protect the passer. Clemson's not been able to protect the passer. So I don't know, Phil. I mean, I just think it's a toss-up. Quite honestly, I at this point, and I think Will back me up. I don't see either one of them, celebrating at this point. I think both of them understand that we've got to get better and we've got to perform better. And if they don't perform better, then, obviously it's going to come down to the end of the year, like you said, at the Palmetto Bowl, where, obviously the team that performs better will win the football game. But I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite either way, quite honestly. I've gotten to the point with South Carolina, Will, I don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to expect every week, because until they solve their offensive line problems up front, I just don't see progression. And that is where progression is going to take place. Solve your offensive line problems, give your quarterback a chance to make plays, and get some type of opening for your running backs.
Will?
Well, I'm going to say that Clemson wins, and this is the only reason why, because it's away. We can't win at home, and we play good on the road. I don't understand what's going on. We used to be the dominant team at home, and then, everybody going on the road was supposed to be the daunting task. So since we're on the road, I give us the win. Had it been at home, there's no possible way, because for some reason, we can't come out of our own tunnel and get out of our own shadow. Obviously it's a toss-up at this time. I do think Clemson still is the better team with better weapons. I do think they can still, if they get their crap together, they have a lot of weapons on offense, and they've shown it 2 weeks in a row, albeit against 2 really good high school teams. So what did we really find out? We don't know. Now you're gonna know a whole lot more this Saturday at 3:30. That's for doggone sure.
Hey guys, as always, we appreciate you. Rick, thank you so much for stepping up. Awesome as always. Will, great stuff from you. Y'all have a great week, and we will talk to you next week, Will, and Rick, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, thank you. Thank y'all for having me on.
See you guys.
Thank you so much. Okay, there you go. The M&S boys tonight with Will Merritt and sitting in for Corey Miller, the one and only Dr. Rick Sanford. All right.
Will working on his stand-up comedy routine
Good stuff.
tonight.
Good stuff. He was sharp. We got to hit the break, come back with the recruiting report tonight. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about there, and we'll bring you that. And speaking of roads, is a home team going to win a baseball game in these playoffs?
It doesn't look like it, does
Crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely you play all season for the right to have the home field advantage, and it does you absolutely no good in these CS games so far. Okay, back in a moment.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or Jim at jimcorbettattorney.com. Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, time for the recruiting report here on Sports Talk, brought to you by the great folks over at Seawell's, very best in the catering business anywhere in South Carolina. You got an event coming up. You want the very best. You want the very best efforts. You want the very best planning. You want the very best execution. You want the very best coordination. You want the very best blocking. You want a great run game. I've seen their running game. It's fantastic. They run right at you. That's Seawell's. All right? Give them a call, 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Daily luncheon buffet tomorrow. It's a big day.
Fried pork chops, teriyaki glazed salmon, southern fried chicken, and saving the best for last, it's a roast beef Friday.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that. And if you happen to be a winner of our contest, I would choose a Friday to go. Not that any of the days is not good, but Friday might be the best.
Well,
it's
you
a
get
roast
the gravy.
beef Friday.
You get the gravy on Fridays.
You get gravy. They actually have gravy multiple days. You can ask for gravy. So check that out. It's from 11 till 2, Tuesday through Friday, for only $15. Defensive end Franklin Whitley from Greenville. He's as hot as anybody on the recruiting side of things. Just picked up an offer from Tennessee. That came in right after an official visit to Florida State. He said he had a great experience there, even though they lost. The coaches were great. Went out to dinner with them, so he had a very good visit there. He's going to take an official to South Carolina this coming weekend. He was also in for the Vanderbilt game, and he'll be back next week unofficially for the Alabama game. Shane Beamer, Sterling Lucas, Travian Robertson, they've been on him very hard. The entire defensive staff talked to him on the phone the other day, so they're making a concerted effort, and that's why he went ahead and set up that official visit for this weekend. He has also been talking to Clemson this week with defensive ends coach Chris Rumpf and some of the folks from the recruiting office, and he has set a midweek official visit with the Tigers for November 19th. He will follow that official with one to Florida that weekend. He also has an official with Alabama November 15th. The only other game visit that Whitley has scheduled for now is the Vanderbilt at Tennessee game on November 29th. Upcoming game visits for Irmo defensive end Jaden Bryant this weekend, Tennessee at Alabama. Then he'll be at USC for the Alabama game, Oklahoma at Tennessee on November 1, Syracuse at Miami November 8th, Arkansas at LSU on the 15th, Samford at Texas A&M November 22nd, Clemson at USC the 29th. He was at Texas A&M last weekend. More to come on that. USC target 27 corner Amari Fountain of Warner Robins, Georgia. More recent offers for him: Florida State, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, North Carolina, Florida, West Virginia, Georgia, Vanderbilt, LSU, and Ole Miss. He plans to visit Clemson Saturday per Tiger Illustrated. 27 linebacker Bubba Alexander of Hammond plans to be at Clemson Saturday, as does 2028 defensive tackle R.J. Cruz, 6'3", 270, of Owings Mills, Maryland. And 27 athlete Malik Miller of Irmo plans to visit South Carolina on Saturday. There you go with the recruiting report tonight, brought to you by Seawells. This message I wanted to get to. Let's see here. Going back to this message from the 803. Be nice if you put a name on here, just a first name. Make one up. Give me some initials, or just make up somebody's name. So Surratt's injury was an ankle. That's correct. I think I said knee. I think I had him confused with Marquis Anderson. Marquis Anderson, I think, has been dealing with a knee. Also, Thompson, Wanham, and a few others played as a true freshman and did well. They did. And Surratt started against Kentucky also. Yes, he did. Can't argue with anything you say there. Did not South Carolina run for 200 yards against LSU and almost 200 against Kentucky? They did. They're still averaging only 115 rushing yards a game. And 70, they had 183 against LSU. 72 came on one run. Outside of that, it was like 100 yards, 111. So I don't think anybody's going to make the argument. I don't think anybody's going to. I don't think anybody's going to make the argument that they're a good running team.
No, but I mean they've been much better the past 2 weeks, and you can't just say, well, they only had 70 yards. You know, they had 70 yards on one play. That's like taking away a touchdown on special teams. It shouldn't count.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that, but I mean, we pointed out that they have run the ball better the last 2 weeks.
Exactly.
But not, still cost the offensive line coach his job. So obviously they don't think they're doing well enough at this point. So, all right, that'll do it. We got a Football Friday tomorrow.